If I tell you that it feels that you've gone from strength to strength, Russia was good, you were very efficient, you were solid, no problem. Denmark was very good because the second half and the character you showed and you win the game. Finland, you took your time and it was a very solid, good performance again. Do you feel that you've all gone from strength to strength in those 3 games, and are you really ready for the proper Euros to start in a way?
We are, yeah. And I think in any tournament, you've got 2 tournaments in one tournament. One is the group phase, and I think you need to use those 3 games to make you better, to get everyone ready. And then you got the knockout phases. That is a different tournament in itself. I agree with your analysis of the different opposition, the way we perform. But I would add that in that we got obviously 22 outfield players that I think is always important that everyone had their debut and almost got the emotions out of the way. Now they're ready to help the team whenever it's needed. And I think that's a big plus and a big factor when I saw in World Cup 2018 to be able to have. It's very rare that the initial team in the first group phase game finishes in the last game of the tournament, and that's down to the effect of those players that they need to come on and affect the game in specific moments. And I think that's a real bonus for us that everyone now had some minutes and has got the emotional debut out of the way.
So you said a new Euros, a new tournament starts now. Has it been hard for you to plan a bit ahead because you still don't know, when we record this interview, you still don't know who you're going to play against in the last 16?
Yes, but I think obviously that always happens in tournaments. We know more or less which teams they could happen. We know where, which I think that helps a lot because the heat and the conditions we're going to get in Sevilla are going to be quite important. But it's the magic of the tournament. You don't mind not to know the opponent. The bad side is when you've got no game to prepare and it doesn't matter what happens because you're out of the tournament. So I'm not going to complain about this.
That's true. I know also that you've watched all the other teams and the game and etc. Is there anyone that has impressed you more than others for one reason or another? Is Italy and the Mancini kind of revolution, as the French against Germany or the German against the Portuguese, have impressed you? What have you made of the other teams so far, of the big teams, I mean?
Yeah, I think there are many games that they've been very impressive. If I had to highlight one, I would highlight Italy because I think they use that home momentum in a very good way. We were talking about the effect of the home crowd. I think playing in Rome has been really important for Italy. But then Roberto Mancini now has been working long enough to see that this team works like a club level team. They had 13 straight wins in what is the qualification games and the 3 group phases. That's not easy to achieve unless you got a very committed group of players playing international football. And then I must admit, I think Wales, they've been very impressive. Their victory against Turkey and the way that they qualified as second, that's another team that they are enjoying their tournament. And from there, probably Germany, that they look like a team that they already now enjoy playing that system. The wingbacks have a big role in their performances, and they will be a really challenging team in this tournament. But probably we're going to find out about more. I think it's going to be a lot of twists and turns. It's going to be big performances and low performances, depending on where you play. If you're on a neutral side or you play in front of your fans, I think we're going to get the most inconsistent tournament so far in the Euros from now on.
Do you feel it's an open tournament from now? I mean, a lot of people have said that France maybe have the best squad and they're world champions as well. But it still feels, and we saw against Hungary where they were not at their best and they struggled a little bit, that maybe it's more open than we thought at the beginning when a lot of people were tipping France to win it.
It is. I think it's very open. And England, for me, is still the big favorites of this format. They play at home. You know, when the games are getting tight and they get those moments that is a knockout phase, that all the aspects matter when you play at home. Those are big advantages. So to play 6 games out of the 7, you have to be favorite on that. But then after that, on the day, you can see that any national team can win a game. And from that position, there'll be many small factors that they could be decisive. So I don't think this is a tournament that you can predict. I think it's a tournament that you need to see what team is more prepared to expect the unexpected. And for that reason, I think it's very difficult to call.
There's a long way to go, but there's a possibility as well, you know, my friend, that you and I meet again in the semi-final, like 3 years ago.
That would be a good sign. Sign.
But more seriously, is there a feeling you think amongst the players and you and the staff of wanting a revenge in a way? That game in 2018, and I know we've talked about it, still not really you haven't digested it really properly because you had so much of the ball. You were probably the best team on the day, and yet France was so efficient with that Umtiti goal, and then that was it. They closed the shop and they kept that win. Would you want to play them again and maybe sort of avenge that defeat of Russia 3 years ago?
Not necessarily. No, I know that obviously from the outside it may look that way. I think what we are is desperate to use that semi-final in our advantage, not because it was France, but I think every time you lose a semi-final in a major tournament or you lose a big game in a major tournament, and probably France are the team that they are now because they lost against Portugal in Paris in 2016, I think that makes you a different team. And I think we are a different team after losing that semi-final. And we're looking to try to almost beat that feeling, but not necessarily against France. I thought that's what happens. France are a group of outstanding individuals that they play on song. They're defensively really, really strong. It's not the national team as such. It's we want to hopefully learn from what happened in that semi-final to be able to become a better team. And I think the feelings we had that night will help us in this tournament.
And is there a feeling that you want to be a bit more efficient and maybe less of a playing team when it comes to those big games, in the sense that you can have a lot of the ball, but in the end that might not win you the game. However, if you're very efficient, one chance, two chances, one goal, and then you're very solid defensively, that's how you go and win those tournaments.
Not necessarily. I think obviously we need to be very firm with what we believe, and the DNA of this Belgium generation is the individual talent. We want to exploit the talent by taking risks and being on the ball and being on the attacking play. I don't believe that a certain style helps you to win games. I think being very, very good in your style helps you to win games. And I think that's what we are trying to do, become better on the ball and off the ball, but always highlighting that we are a team that we will try to be on the ball, we'll try to defend as quick as we can, as high as we can, and then take the chances, because whatever happens in both boxes will affect the scoreline. But I don't think we want to lose the identity of this generation, because I do feel that this generation is going to affect the next generations to come in Belgian football. We are a small nation of 11 million that we need to work in a very clear vision. And the vision is to have a very potent DNA in our football. And whatever this generation does will have a big effect in the future.
I know you're very focused on this tournament, of course, but there's also a lot of talk about of clubs looking for a manager for next season. You know that. You know where I'm going with the question.
That's always the case, Jules. Always the case. We, as coaches, if we lose 3 games, our job is in doubt. And if we do okay and we are winning games, then there'll be always talk. But at the moment, as you mentioned, we're right in the middle in a tournament that we've been preparing for 3 years. So you can imagine the only focus I have now is to be as good as we can for this next game coming. And with the future, we'll see. I never get the future right, so any prediction of my future, I'll get it very wrong. So you better not ask me about it.
But there will be a time where you're going to go back to club football anyway, right?
Yeah, obviously. I don't know when that will happen. Still a young man in coaching, 47 years old. I came to Belgium for the World Cup in 2018 for a 2-year period, and as it happens, we develop a way of working and a project behind the national team, and it's been 5 years and I enjoyed every single second. So at the moment, we're just focusing step by step. At the moment is the Euros, we'll have whatever comes in the future, it will be the right thing for both, for Belgian football and myself.
Brilliant, Roberto. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best, even against my team. If you
I don't know if you mean it.
You love me too much. No, but more. I mean, for Belgium, for you, and for Belgium, and for this generation that you mentioned, winning these Euros would be incredible, right? It would be the all the work that you've put for the last 5 years. It would mean so much.
Let's see if we can win in Sevilla first.
Always game by game. You always tell me that, step by step. You see?
It's been great to see you.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.